Discussing Endanger in the Indian Ocean. Dialogisme dans l'océan Indien is today's title for the publication and proceeding of the conference organized by the Faculty of Social Studies and Humanities and CRSI, Center for Research on Slavery and Indenture of the University of Mauritius, and the Réunionnese Association Thea Bagnon. This work presents a new in-depth perspective on the various facets of the lives of indentured laborers after the abolition of slavery. And it presents the different papers that were presented in the 2023 conference in Saint-Paul, Réunion. And in this conference today, we will meet all those authors. The key speakers today are Doug Monroe and Kalpana Hiralal.
The tertiary education. Thus, Bridge became a quintessential scholarship boy whose university education was paid for by someone else.
Doug Monroe is paying tribute to the life and work of late Professor Brijlal, an eminent Indo-Fijian historian and a pioneer in indentured labor research in Fiji, recognized worldwide in this field of study. It is to be noted that Brijlal participated in several scientific events in Mauritius.
And hard work and abundance. It also became a self-fulfilling prophecy, with his lecturers encouraging to greater heights. He then won a scholarship to the University of British Columbia for postgraduate study, but was only able to take up the offer.
In his article, he was sent into exile to silence his voice. Doug Monroe traces Brijlal's exceptional academic career and his political destiny, marked by his exile from Fiji, along with his wife Padma, following the 1987 coup d'etat.
Years, they were soulmates. When the anthropologist Adrian Mayer, an author of the study of Indian rural society in Fiji in the 1950s, stayed with Bridge and Pad 3, came out under the imprint of a minor publisher, it was recognized immediately as a major study. So Brijlal had arrived, so to speak.
Professor Doug Monroe and Brijlal were friends for more than 40 years. Professor Brijlal was he was the most important professor of indentured labor history. Started in the 1980s until present day. He was a descendant of indentured laborers. He was on Fiji, which is in the southern Pacific. He was deported from his island, and Professor Monroe was talking about this. And also, we have the pleasure that Dr. Padma Lal is also online, the widow of Brijlal, and he was talking about his friendship, the contributions of Professor Brijlal, which even affected us in Mauritius and every country where you had the Indian diaspora, Céline in La Réunion, elsewhere in the world, okay? Just in a nutshell. So we keep on moving. We have a small clip which you will see Brijlal speaking. It's just a short time, probably 1 or 2 years before he passed away. He passed away in December 2021. And this clip will give you a flavor of the type of academic, the type of scholar that he was. And he was based in Australia, Australian National University. He also taught in Hawaii and in Canada and elsewhere. But he was truly an international figure, not only in academia, but also as a political activist against the regime, the regime in Fiji. Okay? So we'll move to the clip now.
Has interesting comparisons and contrasts with Mauritius. Now, Mauritius was the first country to import indentured labor in 1834, and Fiji was the last in 1879. The person who was responsible for introducing Indian indentured laborers into Fiji was Sir Arthur Gordon, who had been governor in Mauritius, and that is where he had seen the benefits of Indian indentured emigration. 400,000 went to Mauritius, 60,000 came to Fiji, of whom about 24,000 went back. The majority of migrants to Mauritius were principally from Bihar and southern Uttar Pradesh, whereas the majority of people, migrants to Fiji, were essentially from eastern UP, the Purbiya districts of eastern UP.
So today, Professor Doug Munro, adjunct professor from the University of Queensland, Australia, although also based in New Zealand, he paid a homage to late Professor Bridgelal, international professor of indentured labour, who was based at Australian National University until his retirement, who passed away in 2021. Professor Doug Munro, he himself is also a very famous professor of history, of historians and of indentured labour in the Australian, New Zealand, Pacific part of the world. So today the objective was to show the importance of indentured labour, not only in Mauritius but also in Fiji, Queensland and South Australia, to show the relationship between indentured labour and the scholarship or research on indentured labour between the Pacific and the Indian Ocean worlds. So Professor Doug Munro spent a lot of time in his intervention highlighting this importance and also paying homage to Professor Bridgelal and also discussing his work on indentured labour, and that for many years now I've collaborated with him, and also the Apravasigat Trust Fund has collaborated with Professor Doug Munro. So he is already a known writer, historian, even in Mauritius. So today we are launching this book, Dia Langagisme, or literary translation is Say Indenture. It's about a journey that started 2 years ago in Réunion Island at an international conference where Professor Céline Ramsamy invited us for a conference with other stakeholders, including Sheila Narayanan, myself, Professor Pausuraman, and other friends of Apravasigat, colleagues from Apravasigat and Mauritius participated in that conference.
Céline, please tell us about the book today that was launched, how many authors are in the book, and how you have been preparing for this. Tell us.
Okay, so originally we made this book because of the symposium was held in Réunion Island in 2023 in the city of Saint-Paul in La Réunion. It's in the west. And after 2 years, it was an international symposium, and after 2 years we have been able to collect all the articles and to do this book. So this book was very important for our association Terre Bagnan, which regroups a majority of women who are in the research on indenture. And the book speaks about different aspects of indenture labor. So we can have dark aspects like vagrancy, marronage, regarding the indenture. As you know that in every colony we had this kind of phenomenon of marronage after slavery abolition. So we wanted to show also better aspect to put in light social economic mobility of indenture people after the abolition, and we could show that people were able, for example, to open little shops, petit commerce, as we say in French, so they can live indenture. They could leave the world of the plantation to become merchant and to sell different kind of things in their little shop. So it was the better aspect of indenture. And one aspect that we really wanted to shed on light was the question of women, as we are very we pay a lot of attention with the situation of indenture woman. So we asked, that's why we asked Kalpana Iralal from the University of KwaZulu-Natal. She made a lot of work about indenture women. So she came and she spoke about indentured women after abolition and during apartheid. So it's a story which is very little known. So that's why we asked Kalpana Iralai to speak about all these women who were very active in to fight apartheid and who were very present. They do a lot, but we didn't know anything about them. So Kalpana showed all this for us, and for us it was very interesting. And in the book you can also find other aspects and other researchers like Sheila Narayanan, who do at the moment her PhD on indentured women in the plantation in Réunion, and we can see also a life of a woman after abolition of slavery, like has Expedite Laop Cerno, who spoke about a young slave woman who became after matron. She helped people to give born to baby in the plantation. And that's why we try to collect all these articles, and people and reader can also find all these aspects. Of course, we didn't forget aspect of heritage, cultural heritage. So you can find article about Tambour Malbar, Bal Tamoul, the Bal Tamoul made in Réunion, who was recognized as in patrimonial heritage, international patrimonial heritage. And after that, we have finished with a great part of the book to the life of Bridge Village Lal, who was the pioneer and the most recognized researcher on indenture. He was an Indo-Fijian, and he unfortunately leave us too early. So we wanted to pay tribute to Bridge Lal.
Manorama, please tell us about the organization of this mini seminar and about the publication that you had today. There have been collaboration of Réunion Association and University of Mauritius and CRSI. Please tell us more about this.
So this book launch has been organized in the context of our monthly seminar at the Center for Research on Slavery and Indenture. And once again, it has given us the privilege and opportunity to collaborate with the Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, but also with the Terre-Bagnon Association. The CRSI has been created in 2006 by our former professors, namely Dr. Vijaya Tilak. And the main aim at the creation of the center was to promote research on slavery and indenture, themes that have lacked research for a very long time. The main objective of the center has been to produce a decolonial perspective on slavery and indenture, which has been lacking for a very long time. And through the collaboration of different institutions in Mauritius, namely the Pravasigat, Nelson Mandela Center for African Culture, the recent Slavery Museum, and other different associations in Mauritius, but also elsewhere in Réunion Island, in Seychelles, in Europe, and in Asia, we've been able to produce high standard research publications.
As you have seen, this piece of work is a very interesting one where historians and researchers have done in-depth research on the lives of indentured laborers. And the most interesting thing about this book is that out of 12 authors, 7 are women. And the research world encourages women to come forward in the field of research and to research more on women. We wish all the readers to enjoy this book, and we wish all the researchers and historians all the best for the future. Thank you.